Hey guys!
Hey guys!
Orphan Black is back, and in this video we're doing our review of the Season 4 premiere of Orphan Black, titled The Collapse of Nature. If you haven't seen it yet and you want to avoid any spoilers, skip this video and come back later because everything we say from this point forward is going to be a spoiler. I'll tell you what, ordinarily I don't really care for flashback episodes, particularly when the entire episode is a flashback, but this was executed absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, they were absolutely brilliant in it because it's a flashback, but it's season 4. So, like, everybody who's been watching it, we're already hooked into it. We're already, like, in this storyline. 2, it's a flashback about this major character that we never actually met. We just kind of hear of her in the show, and we see like the product of what she was doing, but we never actually met this character, so that was awesome. And 3, it was used to introduce a new character, so like everything they did was absolutely brilliant.
Now, we know Beth anecdotally from the other characters, but this is really the first time we've ever got to meet her as a character. And I'm really glad we did, because the first time we ever see Beth, really kind of the only time we ever see Beth, is when she steps in front of the train in the series premiere. And since then, we really haven't seen her and gotten to know her, just what other characters have said about her. So it was great to have an episode focused on her.
Yeah, kind of focused on all the things that led up to that decision. And it also gave us some background information on things that were in season 1 that we didn't know anything about. Now we know about them.
And like you said, in this episode we got to meet a new clone, Mika, or MK, and she's really interesting. I'm excited to learn more about this clone. And her accent, she sounds a lot like Helena. So I wonder if her backstory and Helena's backstory are going to intersect somewhere.
Yeah.
Some of the details in this episode were really, really interesting as well. Like Paul, when Beth is trying to make him have sex with her, he's just not having it. Like, he has zero feelings for her whatsoever. And then you contrast that with Sarah, and he was utterly devoted to her.
Yeah, like, the actor who is playing Paul did such a phenomenal job, because when we first see him, there's chemistry between him and Sarah Manning. Like, there's obvious chemistry there, and he, you know, it's the same actress, but now it's Beth, and there was zero chemistry between them. It was absolutely amazing that those two actors were able to do that. Like, I imagine that's got to be terribly difficult. It was pretty cool.
From a performer's standpoint, I've never been an actor or anything.
Yeah,
so
same.
You know, playing essentially the same relationship with the same actress, only two different
characters.
It's got to just kind of mess with your mind a little bit.
We already know that Tatiana is an absolutely incredible actress. To be able to play all of these different clones, and they are all distinctly different people. They are not one person playing different people. They are different people. So we already know how incredibly talented she is. But it's nice to see that there are other members of the cast who are just as talented.
And it was really nice to see Paul, and we got to see some other characters that we haven't seen in a few years, like Olivier. Not that we're really super invested in Olivier, but the guy with the tail, Helena cut that thing off in the first season, and it was cool to see him pop back up again. And just like little Easter eggs from season 1 in this episode, I think were really, really cool. And the episode concludes, and Sarah, I think she's in Iceland, hiding out with her daughter, and she gets a call from Art, and Art hands the phone off to MK, and MK's like, look, Neolution knows where you are, you need to run right now. And it's like, oh my god!
So it's like this whole episode was just the kind of the setup for the season to come, and it just seems like it's going to be incredible.
But it was so much more than that.
Yeah.
It was set up. It was background. It was
it
Easter
was
eggs.
Backstory.
There was so much. And if this was the first episode of Orphan Black you had ever watched, it would have been a great introduction to the series.
Yeah.
Because the mythology of Orphan Black can get really convoluted and confusing, and if you miss an episode, you're lost.
Yeah, yeah. But this here, like, even if you had never seen it before, you wouldn't be lost because it was told from Beth's point of view before she, like, when she didn't know anything, if she ever did. It doesn't seem like she ever knew much. But, like, we aren't where Sarah Manning is in the story. We're back where Beth was. And so it's almost like a beginner's look at it. So, yeah, it's a great starting point for people who've never seen it.
If the collapse of nature was your first ever episode watching Orphan Black, and you are a little lost because this is a show that you can get lost in and not really know what's going on all the time, I would highly suggest definitely stick with it, because it's the character relationships that really carry the show.
Yeah.
The story is great. Just it takes a lot of effort to keep up because it does get a little bit confusing. But in the end, you become more invested in the characters and their relationships than you do any other part of the show. And what's crazy is Tatiana Maslany plays all of those characters.
Yeah, yeah. And binge watch seasons 1 through 3. Like, immediately.
Yeah, like if you have
like
Amazon
right
Prime,
now.
if you have Amazon Prime, they're free on
Yeah.
on Amazon Streaming or Amazon Instant Video. Those are free, seasons 1 through 3. So if you have Prime and you haven't watched any Orphan Black, just go binge it and then rewatch this episode, and it will be that much better even.
Yeah.
I have been really excited for the return of Orphan Black for a long time now. This episode was fantastic. And like I said, I usually don't like flashback episodes.
Yeah.
And this was one of the best episodes of the entire series.
Yeah. Flashback episodes typically feel like filler.
Yeah.
So, like, I got a little nervous when we saw that it was going to be a flashback, and this is the series, or season premiere. And I'm like, I don't know, but no, this was not a filler episode. This, like, it's the diving board where the story is going to take off from, and it was just absolutely incredible.
And before we cap this video off, we got to talk about the Neolutionists. They're so creepy with the freaking cheek worm or whatever that thing is. Oh, heebie-jeebies.
And the magnets in their fingertips.
That was cool. I like that.
Yeah, like, they are just very extreme.
I hope we get to meet Trina again. I think she was an interesting character. I hope Sarah gets to meet with her again, because Trina only ever met Beth. So she...
Yeah, and I actually I don't know if this is actually something they were doing, but when Beth was talking to Trina, she was like, so she implants things, and she's like, oh yeah, or she implants magnets in the fingertips. She's like, she implants all kinds of stuff, and she's like rubbing her belly.
Oh, the baby!
Yeah, and I'm like, is that like another clone? Are they starting over? Like I was like, oh my gosh, like she's pregnant, and she, like, when she said she implants all sorts of things, I was like, oh my gosh, did she implant that baby? Is this like a whole new generation of clones? Now maybe that was nothing, and I just am like, yeah, maybe it's just a headcanon of mine that I just caught that and I was like, oh, she implanted the baby. What kind of baby is that? So I have no idea, but I would love if that actually meant something and it wasn't just a accidental coincidence.
The fact that Beth went out of her way to congratulate Trina about the pregnancy, maybe, just going that extra little step to call attention to it.
Yeah.
Maybe there is something going on there. Oh man, I'm even more excited now.
Yeah, like I think there's something with that pregnancy. I don't think Miko is our only character introduction.
Okay, I think that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys watched the season 4 premiere of Orphan Black, we would love to know what you think. Let us know down in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed this video, and we really hope you did, tell us by clicking that like button and subscribe for more reviews.
And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Orphan Black is back, and in this video we're doing our review of the season
4.
Yeah. What's it called when you hear about something through somebody telling a story?
Hearsay?
No, not hearsay. Shit. Anecdotally. And after that, or since then, we've not. Are you okay?
Yeah, my nose itches.
If you guys saw the series,